The sky above the desert was quiet and calm, but suddenly a bright light streaked across the horizon, leaving a long trail of fire behind it. People below stared in shock as the object fell faster and faster, finally disappearing into the sand with a thunderous crash. Rumors spread quickly across nearby towns about a meteor or a fallen star, but no one knew the truth. A few hours later, military helicopters hovered above the crash site, shining powerful lights on the strange object half buried in the sand. Scientists and engineers were called immediately. Their excitement mixed with fear. No one had ever seen anything like this before. It was large, smooth, and metallic, yet oddly cracked as if someone had thrown it away. The government quickly secured the area, forbidding anyone from approaching, but news reporters managed to capture glimpses, showing a ship that looked alive in some ways, glowing faintly with unknown energy. On the side of the ship, strange symbols were etched into the metal, patterns no human had ever seen. Some whispered it was alien, but many dismissed it as fantasy. Inside the ship, faint lights blinked and moved along the walls, almost like it was watching the people outside. Engineers tried to open the hull, but it resisted every tool. As they worked, a strange humming sound filled the air, vibrating deep into the bones of everyone nearby. Some people stepped back, afraid the object might explode. Far away in space, the alien fleet that once built this ship observed silently. Their leaders had laughed when the ship failed, calling it a useless experiment. They dumped it on this small, blue planet and flew away, thinking humans were too weak to ever use it. Little did they know, their mistake would soon change everything. As night fell, a storm began to brew around the crash site, lightning flashing across the sky. The wind howled through the desert, making the sand swirl in violent patterns. Inside the ship, the lights grew brighter, almost as if it was waking up. The team inside the command center realized the ship was not dead, but alive in some strange way. Dr. Elena Moore, the lead engineer, stepped closer to the ship, feeling a pull she could not explain. Her hand hovered above a glowing panel, and suddenly it responded to her touch. The lights inside flickered, and the humming grew louder, as if the ship recognized her. Her heart raced, part fear and part excitement, knowing they had discovered something far beyond human understanding. Outside, the media broadcasted live, calling it Earth's fallen star, and millions of viewers watched in awe. People speculated endlessly, some afraid, some curious. Some believed it could bring disaster. Others thought it could be humanity's greatest chance at discovery. Everyone felt the weight of the moment, that this object might change life on Earth forever. As the night deepened, shadows moved inside the ship, hinting at hidden chambers and unknown technologies. The engineers worked tirelessly, trying to understand the strange mechanisms. Every sound, every flicker of light, made their hearts jump. They knew they were at the beginning of something huge, something no one had predicted. The storm finally passed, leaving an eerie calm in the desert. The ship sat silently, but the air around it buzzed with unseen energy. Dr. Moore stepped back and whispered, "This is only the start," and the others nodded, knowing that the world they had known would never be the same again. And somewhere far above, the aliens watched, still laughing at what they thought was a failed creation. But the truth was, humanity had only just begun to understand the gift they had been given. The next morning, the desert was quiet again, but the crash site was alive with activity. Engineers, scientists, and military personnel worked together, their eyes fixed on the alien ship. Everyone was eager to learn its secrets, but the ship seemed alive, resisting every attempt to fully open it. Dr. Elena Moore led a small team inside the ship, carefully stepping through the glowing corridors. The walls were smooth and reflective, showing faint images that moved like shadows. No one understood the symbols etched everywhere, but they felt important, as if telling a story from another world. Strange humming filled the air, vibrating in patterns that made the team's hair stand on end. Machines brought from Earth could not detect the ship's energy. It was unlike anything humans had ever studied. A small panel on the wall lit up when Dr. Moore touched it, showing glowing diagrams she could not interpret. Outside, other teams watched closely, taking notes and scanning the ship with every tool they had. Governments from around the world sent representatives, each wanting a part of this alien discovery. Rumors spread that the ship could be a weapon, or a source of unlimited energy. Everyone was on edge, knowing they were holding something dangerous. Inside, the ship seemed to respond to the humans. Lights pulsed in rhythm with their movements. Panels activated as if recognizing their touch. Dr. Moore realized that the ship was not just a machine, but something that could interact with thought. A sense of excitement mixed with fear filled the room. The team discovered a hidden chamber deep within the ship. Its walls were covered in symbols that glowed faintly. The air was warmer, and the humming was stronger. Machines could not penetrate the walls, but Dr. Moore noticed a pattern. Using a small device, she touched the symbols, and the walls shifted like water, opening a hidden space. Inside, they found strange devices, unlike anything human engineers had seen. Small objects floated in the air, spinning and glowing. Some looked like weapons, others like power sources, but no one knew how they worked. The ship seemed to be testing them, seeing how much they could understand. Suddenly, alarms sounded inside the ship. Though there were no visible threats, lights flashed, and the humming intensified. The team froze, unsure if the ship was angry or just communicating. Dr. Moore placed her hand on a floating device, and it stabilized, glowing steadily. The ship seemed to acknowledge her control. Outside, tensions grew, as governments began arguing over who would control the ship. Military leaders demanded access, while scientists warned caution. The media called it Earth's greatest discovery. Fueling public curiosity and fear, people watched live broadcasts, imagining what the ship could do. Some were hopeful, some terrified. Back inside, Dr. Moore and her team realized the ship contained far more than they imagined. Energy cores that could power cities, devices that could alter matter, and small weapons with unimaginable power. Every discovery was both thrilling and frightening. The ship's secrets were like a puzzle, and humans were only beginning to solve it. By the end of the day, the team had learned that the ship could respond to human thought, adapting to their intentions. It was as if the aliens had underestimated humans, believing their creation was useless. But humans were clever, patient, and curious, traits the aliens had never expected. As night fell again, the ship hummed softly, almost like a heartbeat. Dr. Moore stepped back, exhausted but amazed. She whispered, "This is bigger than we thought," and the others nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. The ship was more than an object, it was a test, and humanity was rising to meet it. And far above, the aliens watched, still unaware that their failed experiment was awakening a new power on Earth. The alien ship sat silently in the desert, but inside, a storm of ideas and experiments filled the command center. Dr. Elena Moore and her team had spent weeks studying the glowing panels and floating devices. Every day brought a new discovery, and every discovery revealed something even stranger. The team realized the ship's energy could be controlled, not just observed. Simple gestures, thoughts, and patterns activated different systems. The floating devices could assemble and disassemble themselves, creating tools, machines, and even protective barriers. It was as if the ship was teaching humans how to use it. Dr. Moore experimented cautiously, combining human technology with the alien systems. Small energy pulses powered lights and machines on Earth for the first time. Engineers marveled as devices shaped themselves to fit human hands. The alien ship, once laughed at, was slowly becoming a bridge between two worlds. The world outside waited anxiously, watching live feeds. Some leaders demanded the ship be used as a weapon immediately. Others warned that they did not understand it fully. Fear spread across nations, but excitement grew even faster. Humanity had a chance to change the game forever. Inside the ship, the team discovered a core chamber filled with spinning orbs of light. Each orb contained unimaginable energy, enough to power cities, or perhaps, much more. Dr. Moore reached out, feeling the hum resonate with her heartbeat. Her mind raced with possibilities. Could this be a weapon, a shield, or something beyond imagination? The ship tested them, throwing challenges and puzzles at the humans. Panels moved, lights blinked in sequences, and small drones floated in unpredictable patterns. Every solution opened new pathways and revealed new devices. Dr. Moore smiled, realizing that humans were learning faster than the aliens expected. One night, a minor miscalculation caused a device to surge, filling the room with a bright white light. The team jumped back, shielding their eyes, but the device stabilized, and to their astonishment, it had created a protective energy field around them. Humanity had begun to harness the ship's power. Outside, news reports called it Earth's ultimate discovery, and the world buzzed with speculation. People imagined a new era where humans could defend themselves against anything in space. The aliens, watching from afar, were confused. They had thought humans were weak and insignificant, but their failed ship told a different story. Dr. Moore gathered her team. "This ship is not just a tool, it is a partner," she said. Her words inspired hope, courage, and determination. Engineers and scientists began mapping the energy patterns, discovering ways to integrate them into human technology. Small drones transformed into powerful machines, energy shields formed around the desert base, and human weapons became more advanced. The ship itself seemed to respond to human ingenuity, adapting to their logic and creativity. Every problem solved by humans caused the ship to evolve, becoming more efficient and powerful. It was no longer a failed alien prototype, but a testament to human intelligence and resilience. As the day ended, Dr. Moore stood before the glowing core, exhausted but exhilarated. "We are only scratching the surface," she whispered. The team nodded, understanding the weight of their responsibility. This was more than a discovery. It was a turning point in history. Humanity had the power to change its future. And far above, the aliens watched, astonished and angry. Their failed ship was no longer a failure. It had become a force that even they had not expected, a force created by human courage, ingenuity, and the will to survive. The desert base was quiet at first, but far above, dark shapes moved in the sky. Alien ships emerged from the atmosphere, their engines glowing like burning stars. They were coming for the ship humans had claimed, determined to take it back, or destroy it. On the ground, alarms blared across the base, red lights flashing and sirens echoing through the desert. Scientists and soldiers ran to their stations, unsure how to face a technology far beyond their understanding. Dr. Elena Moore stood at the command center, her eyes fixed on the radar, heart pounding with fear and determination. The alien ships fired strange energy beams, slicing through the desert sands, buildings shook, and protective barriers wavered. The humans were ready, but this was their first real test. Every pulse of alien energy felt like a challenge, the universe testing human courage. Inside the ship, strange devices hummed and floated, sensing the approaching threat. Panels lit up as if guiding the humans on what to do next. Dr. Moore realized the ship could defend itself, but it needed humans to direct it. The team quickly learned to use gestures and thought commands, activating shields and energy pulses. Outside, soldiers fired human-made weapons, some hitting alien ships, most missing. But every strike showed that humans were not helpless. The ship responded to the humans' creativity, forming new defenses and adapting to alien attacks. Its energy pulsed stronger with every move, becoming more powerful than anyone had imagined. One alien ship managed to land near the base, sending a team to sabotage the human systems. Panic spread as engineers rushed to protect the core. Small devices floated to intercept, blocking the intruders. But the aliens were smart and persistent. The humans realized that brute force alone would not win this battle. Dr. Moore took a deep breath, remembering every test and every solution the team had discovered. She focused on the ship's core, thinking of a plan that used both human ingenuity and the alien ship's power. Lights swirled, devices moved in perfect synchrony, and an invisible force pushed back the alien saboteurs. The aliens grew frustrated, firing wildly and attempting to regain control. But the humans had learned the ship's language, its rhythm, its intelligence. Every strike and defense felt like a dance between human will and alien technology. The desert trembled under the conflict, sand and energy swirling into the sky. Minutes felt like hours as the battle raged, but the humans did not falter. Every engineer and soldier worked in unison, guided by Dr. Moore. The alien attackers began to retreat, confused and shocked at how quickly humans had adapted. They had underestimated not just the ship, but the humans controlling it. Finally, the last alien ship fled into space, leaving silence and smoke behind. The desert was scorched, but the human base stood, its power stronger than ever. Dr. Moore exhaled, knowing that this was only the beginning. Humanity had defended their discovery, but the ship's true potential was still hidden, waiting. That night, the base glowed with energy, panels lighting up as if celebrating the victory. The team gathered around the core, exhausted but inspired. Dr. Moore whispered, "We are ready for what comes next," and everyone nodded, understanding that they had survived the first real test. Far above, the alien commanders watched silently, stunned. Their laughter had turned into disbelief. Humanity had taken a failed experiment and turned it into a weapon, a shield, and a force they could not control. The battle was over, but the war for the universe had only begun. The desert was calm, but the energy of the alien ship pulsed like a living heartbeat. Dr. Elena Moore and her team stood before the glowing core, knowing the final test was at hand. Humanity had survived alien interference, but now it was time to unlock the ship's full potential. Engineers moved quickly, arranging devices, focusing energy, and synchronizing every system. The floating panels glowed brighter, spinning and assembling themselves into structures that resembled shields, weapons, and energy projectors. The ship hummed in response, as if asking the humans if they were ready. Dr. Moore stepped forward, placing both hands on the core, concentrating, thinking about every challenge they had overcome. Every thought sent waves of energy through the ship, activating systems no human had ever touched. The desert around them began to shimmer with power, sand rising in glowing columns. Suddenly, a warning signal flashed on the screens. Alien ships had returned, larger and more aggressive than before. They had realized humans were no longer weak. They wanted the ship back at any cost, but the humans were prepared. The team activated the ship's defenses, energy shields forming around the base, glowing like walls of light. Floating devices moved rapidly, intercepting attacks. The alien weapons struck, but each impact was absorbed, transformed, and returned with controlled force. The humans had not just survived, they had adapted. Dr. Moore directed the ship like a conductor, her mind and will guiding the alien technology. Weapons formed from energy pulsed outward, targeting alien ships with precision. The invaders were stunned, unable to understand how humans controlled what they thought was a failed experiment. The battle raged across the desert sky, but slowly, alien ships began to retreat, their energy beams faltering against the combined force of human ingenuity and alien technology. Humans cheered quietly, but Dr. Moore remained focused, ensuring every last threat was neutralized. Finally, silence fell, broken only by the low hum of the ship. The desert was scorched, but the humans had triumphed. The alien fleet vanished into space, confused and defeated. Their prototype had become humanity's ultimate weapon, and Earth now held a secret power no other civilization could match. Dr. Moore stepped away from the core, exhausted but exhilarated. She looked at her team, each face glowing with pride and relief. "We did it," she said, her voice soft but firm. "We turned their failure into our victory." The team nodded, knowing that humanity had proven itself worthy, clever, and courageous. Around the world, news spread of the ship's power, though governments and scientists agreed to keep its full ability secret. Humanity had changed, not just with technology, but with confidence and determination. They had taken a gift thrown away by aliens and made it a shield, a weapon, and a symbol of hope. As night fell, the ship hummed softly, energy flowing through it like a heartbeat. Dr. Moore gazed up at the stars, wondering what other challenges might come from the universe. She knew the ship still held secrets, waiting for humans to discover, explore, and master. Far above, the aliens watched, silent and shocked. Their mocking laughter had turned to disbelief. Humanity had taken their failed experiment and turned it into a force beyond their imagination. The universe had changed, and Earth had proven that even the smallest, underestimated species could rise to greatness. And in the desert, the ship glowed, a silent sentinel for the future, ready for whatever might come next.